Hello, Algebra. So, as promised, I said I would try to make a video for you, and here's the video, okay? This is all about writing in slope-intercept form, or the keys are. Okay, so what this is going to be is similar to what we've been doing, but now instead of doing the graphing part of it, we're going to do the writing part of it. Could be from a graph, from a table, from information. So, one thing we need to remember is that we have y equals mx plus b. Okay, that's our main formula where the m is the slope and the b is the y-intercept. Okay, so the first thing you're going to get to is when I'm giving you two pieces of information every time. Okay, the first one is going to be where I give you a point and I give you the slope. Okay, yeah, obviously it'd be easy if I just said, hey, here's the slope, here's the intercept, plug them in. Okay, so for example one, I'm going to give you a point of 2, 1 and a slope of 3. Okay, so normally there'd be some sort of sentence along with this, but for now it's just this. You have a point and you have the slope. Okay, you need to take this point and this slope and plug it in. Okay, well the easy part is the slope because we have this equation here. Okay, so we have y equals mx plus b. You need to figure out what you're missing. Okay, so you need the m and you need the b. We have the m, we need to find the b. So I plug in all this stuff. Now, the point is the different part. Well, just remember it's x, y for the point. So we'll plug that x and that y into x and y, okay? So I get 1 equals, my slope is 3, times my x is 2, and then plus b, okay? And then I solve for the b, just like any other equation. 3 times 2 is 6, so I get 1 equals 6 plus b. And then from there, I just do the math, subtract 6 from both sides. I get -5 equals b, okay? Now I have b and I have m from the beginning of the problem. I just plug those into the equation, and that's our answer. So I have y equals 3x minus 5. And that is the full answer to the problem. Okay, that's one type of example. Obviously, we can do another one in class if we need to, but moving on to example 2. All right, for example 2, now I'm giving you two pieces of information still, okay, but instead of the intercept and slope, I'm giving you 2 points, okay? These 2 points, it doesn't matter what they are technically, but you know that those 2 points are on the line, okay? So the two things you need again are slope and intercept. Well, you have to think about what can you find with 2 points? Well, you can find slope with 2 points. If you remember, we have this formula of y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, obviously this is a level 3 problem with how much you're going to have to do here. Okay. And again, first point's x1, y1. Technically doesn't matter. So I plug those in. y2, we have -6 minus y1, which is -4. And then x2 is -5 minus x1 is -2. And then you notice we got the kind of double negative rule here twice. So I'll add on both of them. I'll get 10 over -3. Okay. It's a goofy slope, but that's perfectly fine. So then now I do what we did in the previous problem, which that's why this is level 3, whereas example 1 was only level 2. Okay, you're doing the same steps, you just had to do one step first. So I'm going to take that 10.3, I'm going to plug it in for slope, and then I can choose either point, whichever one you feel is easier to plug in for the x and the y. So I'll just pick the first one. So I'll get -2 equals -10 over 3 times the x, which is -4. And then that is plus b. Okay, and then we work to solve that. So I have -2 equals, multiplying this out, we get a 40 over 3 plus b. Okay, now it's an ugly fraction, and it's not the end of the world. You will have a fraction on one of the test problems. Okay, it might not be as bad as 40 over 3, but it's not going to be the easiest thing ever, just to warn you. So then I'll subtract 40 over 3 from both sides. Okay, this whole 2 here, you just got to, rewrite it as a fraction. So really, this turns into a negative 40. Bring this here. Turns into a negative 40 over 3 minus, that turns into 6 over 3 equals b. So then I get negative 46 over 3 equals b. And then we plug that in for our final answer. So I get y equals, my slope was 10 over 3, negative 10 over 3, x minus 46 over 3. Assuming, we didn't make any mistakes. Okay? Which we did, but that's okay. I forgot that negative. Okay, so pause if you need to, and then we'll move on to example 3. Thing is we're talking about parallel and perpendicular lines, okay? You're going to have to apply the concept of parallel and perpendicular, which you don't know yet, but we're going to do it, to kind of what we just did, where you're finding a slope-intercept equation from given information. So first of all, parallel, it means, you should write this down, by the way, it means same slope, if I could spell. Same slope, okay? Whatever the slope is, it could be -2, it could be 18, whatever the slope is, 1/3, it's the same slope. So 2 lines are parallel, they have to have the same slope, okay? If you think about it, 2 lines have the exact same steepness, they're traveling right next to each other, they're not going to cross, okay? The only way they're going to have the same steepness is they have the same slope, okay? Even if the slopes are super close to each other, they're still going to intersect. If they're the same, they won't intersect, meaning they're parallel. Perpendicular, we have what is called a negative reciprocal. Okay, a negative reciprocal is where we find our perpendicular lines. Okay, I'll give you some examples of negative reciprocals. That way it kind of makes sense. So basically a reciprocal, when we say multiply by the reciprocal, that means flip the fraction upside down. Since it's a negative reciprocal, you also have to make it negative. If it's already negative, you make it positive. So if we had the slope, let's say 2/3, we would change that to negative 3/2. Okay, we flipped it upside down and we made it negative. Let's say we had m equals negative 4/5. That would turn into a positive 5/4. Okay, again, making it, I'm not good at turning a board when it's upside down and backwards. Okay, 5/4. And let's do one more. M equals, let's say we have a -2. This one's a little bit more complicated. Okay, keep in mind, -2 is actually 2/1. So it turns into a positive 1/2. Okay, those are perpendicular slopes. Okay, negative reciprocals. We're gonna do another example with that type of concept, and then we'll be done. All right, so example 3. In my mind, this is actually easier, even though it's level 3 as well. The reason I think it's easier is because I give you a point still, and you still have to find slope, but finding slope here is a lot easier. Before, you had the 2 points and you had to move stuff around and do some math. Here, you just need to find the slope, in this case, perpendicular to this line. Okay, so to do that, we start with what we know the slope is. It's -2. Okay, and random chance, we just did that. -2 turns into a positive 1/2. Okay, so this is the slope we're going to use. And then we just plug this into our slope-intercept formula with our point and our new slope. I'm doing it backwards. Our point and our new slope, okay? So I have y equals mx plus b. Plug the stuff in. Okay, my y is 2 equals 1/2 times the -5. Okay, we're going to get a fraction again. That's okay. It's better to practice it than not. Plus b. And then we do some math. We get 2 equals -5/2 plus b. Add the 5/2 over. Okay, just to skip a step. 2 is, 2/1, so it's 4/2. So we get 9/2, because 4/2 plus the 5, 9/2 equals b. Okay, and then we plug that b and that m into the equation. Y equals 1/2 x plus 9 halves. And that will be our answer. Okay? And that's it for today. Pause if you need to. The reflection is kind of weird. I know. Wasn't expecting that to happen like that, but that's okay. There will be a practice to follow this, and then another video for the next day. And yeah, I'll see you then.